back to the Tarot Cottage. My name is Amy. I'm back today with a pick a card reading for you. A big welcome back to my beautiful returning subscribers. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for your support of me. Thank you for your beautiful comments as well. I am still waiting to hear back from my most recent winner, so be sure to check your notifications in case I have notified you that you were chosen to be the winner of the free tarot reading for this month. So be sure to check your notifications. And if you have found yourself here for the very first time, I would love to read for you as well. So be sure to drop your comment below, hit your notification bell, your like button, all of the buttons. It helps me to bring you more content, and it'll allow me to be able to notify you if you're chosen the winner as well. So be sure to do that. For today's pick a card reading, we're looking at the connection on your mind and what's going on, what's happening, your side, their side, and the truth of the situation, because the truth always lies somewhere in the middle. You know, we have our version of events, they have their version of events, and then the truth lies somewhere in the middle. So what is going on in this connection, in your perspective and their perspective, and what's the truth of the situation that lies somewhere in the middle? We have 3 piles to choose from today. Pile number 1 here with this little stone bracelet with a little turtle on it. Pile number 2 with this chakra bracelet, the dark chakra with the multi little stones. And pile number 3 with the white chakra bracelet. Some of these were actually made by my friend Danielle, who is actually a part of my Instagram. So you might want to check her out, New Age Hippie. I'll put the link below for her. But these are the 3 piles for us to choose from today. Your side, their side, and the truth of this connection. Whichever pile you are drawn to, there will be timestamps listed below this video. Or you can be drawn to multiple timestamps as well. Whichever is pulling your energy or pulling your focus, there may be messages waiting for you. I'm going to jump right into pile number 1. Again, we're looking at their side, your side, and the truth of this connection. Pile 1. Hello, pile 1. You were drawn to this little turtle bracelet, one of my favorites. I'll just place it up here. And your card today is the Intimacy card, and this is from the Magdalene Oracle. And the Intimacy card is all about your fear of being vulnerable with others, their fear as well. So this could be part of the truth of the connection when we sort of look into that a little bit later. The truth that sort of permeates between the two of you, both of you being fearful of being vulnerable. And so it could be very mirrored soul paths that you find yourselves on as well, because this could have been one of the big issues that sort of created where you're at in this connection to this, you know, on this day as we speak. You know, were we afraid of taking risks in the past? Were they afraid of taking risks? So we'll see how that flows into your reading today. So we're going to start with their side, or we'll start with your side today. What is your version of what has happened in this connection so far and where it is currently sitting? What is your version of what has gone on in this connection and what is happening currently for pile number 1, please? So we have the 5 of Wands. Whoops. Oh, we have the 4 of Swords. 5 of Swords actually on the floor. I thought it was the 4 of Swords. It's a floor day. We have a lot going on the floor though today. So 9 of Cups, 3 of Cups, 8 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune. It's a lot going on today. And you know what's interesting is that I feel like you may have gotten sort of stuck in a friend zone here in the past of this connection. And I feel like it's kind of maintained that. I feel like you guys got really close, but no cigar. It's like so close you could almost taste it, but no cigar. And then all of a sudden, boom, there was a change of events and we ran out of time. And that's how fate works. You know, when we're young, we think that we have all the time in the world. And I feel like there's a real sense of insecurity on how you felt about yourself, how you felt you even looked. You were comparing yourself to other people. And none of this was the truth of the situation. Even the 5 of Pentacles is back of deck right now. None of this was the truth, but it was how you felt at the time. And so it was your truth for the awareness that you had at the time. It's like we can't be faulted for kind of our lack of awareness in that moment, but we learned a really harsh lesson, I feel like, because we didn't surrender to our feelings, we didn't let them pass over, and we didn't act regardless of them, and sort of it created a bit of a stagnancy or a hold up in this connection ultimately, because you felt like there was too much competition, or maybe you felt like an option even at times in this connection. The Page of Cups, and it feels like you just got stuck there. as in this, and it wasn't just friendship, and I feel like you know that and they know that it wasn't just friendship, but that's where we ended up perched because we were too afraid to walk through the gateway of that moon. We were too afraid to face the unknown and to just come out and go out on a limb and say, hey, this is how I feel, because your intuition was pushing you at the time to do so. But there's also a lot of innocence connected to the past of this connection as well. So I feel like you were ill-equipped at that moment because you were being influenced so heavily by the time of life that you were in, by the fact that you were comparing yourself to other people, and by all of that internal noise that was just lying to you. Ultimately, we have the Page of Pentacles. You can see these 3 wolves howling at the moon. It's like those 3 wolves were just representing to me their side, your side, and the truth. All of you longing for that clarity. We have the 4 of Cups. And this internal conflict told you that you were helpless or hopeless or not good enough. And that became your gospel in that moment. Like that became sort of the frequency that you were driving from, or the programming that you were running on in the time. And I feel like, you know, awareness and hindsight is 20/20, and a lot of these things have perhaps hit you at this point as well. I feel like you must have evolved from this point. You've evolved past. Some of it hasn't completely cleared out. You're still sometimes don't like the way you look all the time, or don't feel great about yourself all of the time. But this is like, you consider this maybe the benchmark of like, that's the one point I can pinprick. That's the one example I can pinprick of where it all began. Oops, where my insecurity took over, and I didn't act because of that. And I feel like there's a lot of, even currently, because of past situations, we're still feeling helpless to change anything because the past is gone and we can't really change anything. All we want is a shift into healing. And so here's the Magician and the Justice. And you look at the Justice here in this case, it's a cat. You could be a Leo. There's a lot of Leo energy here, but the Pandora's box. In the past, you may not have expressed yourself when in time. And I feel like you maybe had the intention, you were sitting on the intention. You wanted to say something, you wanted to be an open book, and now you've moved into this awareness of like, I should have, I could have, I would have, and I can now, but I can't now. You know, there's a feeling of like, the past is the past, and I need to shift into healing because my position doesn't allow it. But there's this sense of like, I held back so much. I held back so much of my feelings, and if I just unlocked that box, what could have happened between the two of us? So we're going to shift the focus a little bit to their perspective, their side of events. So this intimacy energy is definitely reflecting you and your insecurity or your vulnerability that you felt in that moment of being seen. And now we're going to shift the focus into, I'm going to put this down here for now. We're going to shift the focus to your person. What is their side of the events? In their perspective, what happened in this connection? The Six of Pentacles. The Emperor. The Emperor is being combined here with the Queen of Swords, the Ace of Wands, and the Nine of Cups, which is really interesting because we had that Queen of Swords, even this sense of Nine of Cups energy over here as well. So we're going to combine those. In their perspective, what happened here, Spirit? The Five of Cups. I almost want to push those back a little bit so I have a little bit more space. So there's already a deep sense of loss, deep sense of remorse, and it's like a feeling of permanent change. They worry that it's permanent. We have the Eight of Pentacles. You can see that this Eight of Pentacles is somebody who's actively working on their own transformation. What is their side of events here? The Magician. They are claiming to have taken way too long to approach you. And now they're saying that it's taking you some time. It's taking time for them to clear you out of their system. They thought it would be easier to walk away than it has actually become. They're actively perhaps trying to clear out some of that clutter. They thought it would be much easier to walk away. We have the Three of Wands and we have the High Priestess. This person says that they cared a lot about how you felt about them in the past, and they cared a lot about what everybody thought about them. Like they had too much concern for the opinions of other people, and that's something that really kept them back as well. They were too concerned about other people's opinions in the past when it came to your connection, when it came to being judged by other people. And they're realizing now the folly of that. That's kind of hit them quite a bit in a harsh way, because the Ace of Swords comes out as this sharp truth sometimes that will sting a little bit. But this is also something that this person suppresses in the present. So they're keeping all of these epiphanies about you to themselves. They're even keeping their attraction for you to themselves as well, because at this moment I feel like they are pulled in different directions. They could have moved into a new cycle, for instance, so they don't feel like it's a possibility to get what they want here, which is ultimately this Nine of Cups. This Nine of Cups is a huge theme for you, Pile 1, because there's a sense of unavailability, or you being up on a pedestal, or them being up on a pedestal and feeling so far away, when I feel like it's like a mirage. They're right there in front of you. And so there's still this desire that hangs in the balance in the future, with the 5 and the 4 being that Nine of Cups again. But they really feel helpless now because they're trying to protect another element. They're trying to protect their environment, whatever investments they've made, whatever is pulling them from one side to the other, from the past and into the future. That's halting them, because they may be a part of a karmic cycle, for instance, at this time. They may have moved into a marriage. So take that as it resonates to your situation. They are more guarded with their emotions than you are in the present. Even there's a lot of emotion circulating around here, a lot of helplessness, a lot of emotion. And this person does feel very sad about the loss. They're still holding on to this fantasy, but they don't know that it's possible at this time. But when we move here into this Six of Pentacles, they're really speaking about the past and the opportunity with you, and how they're not claiming the same fear of vulnerability. They're claiming that they are worried about the opinions of other people trickling down at that time. And so now this Three of Wands here, it's like that's what's kind of doomed me, is this fear of others, or the fear of the opinions of others weighing in on my situation. It's just trailed with me all of this time. And so they don't really have the ability to release you yet, but it's like they're trying really hard to work on it. They just don't know how to do it. And here is this High Priestess. The biggest lesson they've learned, they say, is that the risk is worth the reward. And they are really sad that they let that opportunity with you kind of move and flow out of opportunity, or out of grasp for them, because that ship, they feel like, has sailed by and they don't have the opportunity to take advantage of it anymore. But let's shift into, actually I'm going to pull a few more message cards from this person to see where their head is at, and then we're going to shift into the truth of this situation. So how does this person currently feel? Pay attention to red flags. The signs are cautioning you. And now there's this sense of they have red flags. They have obstacles, real obstacles, not just sort of emotional ones that they would perceive as not being true obstacles, but real obstacles concerning their position and perhaps your position. So take that as it resonates. We have chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here, and they're not denying that that was in place in the past. And we have it's time to disconnect from the world and make the effort. Great love is worth the steps you're guided to take. And that is like the Six of Cups. It wanted to present reverse because I don't feel like they have this expectation of success and being able to return to you. In fact, they're acknowledging this retreat. They wish that they could disconnect from this situation sometimes, because the world is representing the closure here. It's like they wish that they could have the closure, and they wish that the two of you could have that together. How do they currently feel for pile 1, please? You make me feel at home. And there's an emphasis on homecoming, on security, on even nostalgia surrounding you. I'm weighing out my options. They still haven't cleared you out of their system. They're still juggling the impression you've made with all of their other practical concerns. I didn't want you to rely on me, the Three of Pentacles. I feel like they've moved into another foundation, and they're acknowledging this separation that is necessary. I also saw I would do anything for you. And I keep hearing your friend always. That's what I just keep hearing, your friend always. We have here, I want to get back what we had. I want reunions. And I feel like that's very mirrored. So it'll be interesting to see what the truth of this connection is. I thought that I had more time. And that's the acknowledgement of this Wheel of Fortune, about suddenly you weren't an option anymore. Suddenly the two of you weren't with each other all of the time. Suddenly there was no opportunity to move things forward. And it happened so suddenly that I feel like we thought, and life was so busy at that time that I feel like you thought it would be easier to wipe them out as well. I never let you into my sanctuary, but now I'm being pulled in two different directions. So let's take a look at the truth of this situation. The truth that lies somewhere in between here. What is the truth of this connection for pile number 1? The 8 of Swords. What stopped this connection from moving forward, and what has brought it to the current state that it is in? The Judgment. And the 6 of Cups. Oh my. Here's the Tower as back of deck, pile 1. And there's the 10 of Cups. The truth is that there was a lot of potential here. The truth is that this potential, and there's a lot of even attachments to soulmate energy here as well. With the 6 of Cups, it's about reunions of souls. It's about working collaboratively to create ascension as well. So this could have been an opportunity to do that. It wasn't your only opportunity, but it was one of the earliest opportunities that you had. And here, this 8 of Swords is really representing this card, the intimacy. So this is really proving to be sort of the truth of the connection itself, about this fear of being seen. And perhaps for different reasons. Perhaps you were fearing, being seen because of insecurities within yourself. And this person was fearful of other people's opinions interloping in the connection itself. Whatever the meat and bones of those issues are, the fact is that we are afraid to be vulnerable. We are afraid to be seen. And so the Judgment now is this sort of lesson that's come in because of this connection. Even in the present moment, the Spirit's going to utilize that lesson to our advantage so that we can ascend and we can take that lesson and apply it to other forces in the future. We let our fears block out potential. And that potential had a lot of potential, but again, not the only place that you can find abundance and happiness. We have the 10 of Swords. And when we connect the 10 and the 8, it's the 18. It's just this fear of the unknown. The fear of following our intuition. And letting our version of the truth, all of these swords, all of the truths that we adopt throughout lifetime, impale us and then take away our empowerment. The internal conflict, which caused confusion and fear. Made perhaps you feel like an option. You weren't just an option, but made you feel that way. And we have the 4 of Swords. Back of the deck is the Knight of Pentacles. And we have the Page of Pentacles. Now, again, there's this beautiful reflection about how these soulmate contracts come down to help us ascend, perhaps on a quicker level than other realms. There's not a necessity that we ascend at that time, and it creates a beautiful space for vulnerability, but it's not sort of applied to us with force that we have to walk in with that vulnerability at that moment. It's just an opportunity for that, and that's what Spirit is really presenting, that you can carry this lesson now forward. And the Knight of Pentacles is talking about the destination being sure for you to get to this 10 of Cups. That they don't ever want to communicate that a soulmate contract is in place because that's the only person destined to make you happy, because we are all responsible for our own level of happiness ultimately. This was an opportunity, and now Spirit says they're still utilizing that lesson as an opportunity to have that aha moment, or have that full spectrum shown to us, so that we can take that and we can move forward and leave behind this unfulfilling situation and take the lesson into new opportunities. So they are indicating that the restrictions were caused by this great lack of fear. It may be different for you and this person as to where that fear stemmed from, but the outcome became the same. It became this sense of longing. It became the necessity for healing. And the Four of Swords asks us to retreat, to reflect upon the beauty of the connection, the opportunity, perhaps the opportunity lost, and let those waves of emotion that were sad and repressive, let them out. Let them out, let them work, let them pass through. Because the Four of Swords doesn't bypass the feeling, which perhaps what we've both been trying to do is move forward without acknowledging that pain. It doesn't bypass the feeling. It acknowledges the pain and acknowledges the sharp sort of contrast to closing out that cycle so we can start fresh with a new perspective. It acknowledges how stinging that can be. It's like sometimes the new beginnings sting a little bit. But there's something very bittersweet about the whole connection itself as well. Can you tell me about the lesson of this connection for pile number 1, please? The truth of this connection for pile number 1. We have here 1111, very mirrored soul paths here, numbers and doubles, synchronicity and 2. Don't hold back your love now because life is meant for you. And that is the ultimate lesson that this connection, the truth of this connection that it offered us, and that it's sort of the truth that still permeates through the disconnect itself, is the fact that what we learned is that not to hold ourselves back in any regard when we see something that is meant for us, when we have a gateway like this that holds so much potential. And I just saw a distant kiss and a prayer flag as well. So there's a sense of still a beautiful attachment here. Advice for pile number 1, please, regarding this connection. The Wheel of Fortune. We feel like our fortune wheel's stuck and we're in stagnancy and it's in the state of limbo because of this separation. The Ten of Swords acknowledges that pain, but there's also this beautiful hope associated with it. You can see the light cascading over the hilltop there, which talks about making new plans of action, taking what we've learned here and applying it with force in new problems or new opportunities to be vulnerable in the future. Whoopsie. There's also a really strong acknowledgement of both of you wanting reunions. We have dance. I think of the Garth Brooks song, The Dance, which is kind of a bittersweet song too. We have T and Z, so they could be initials. We have special, always, and feel. They're reversed. And they'll always, always hold you in a very special place. The Six of Cups sort of requires that. It's like a beautiful rose-colored glasses mentality. We have the nursing cap for healing. There could be a hospital nursing connection. And we also have these Six of Pentacles. They're filled up with honey. So it's really talking about investments that you're currently making, investments perhaps that they're making in the practical realm, and how there are sweet results that await us there. All right, that is what I have for you today, my loves. I hope that it resonates with you. And if it did, please drop your comment below so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. You can also check out my other links for Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to. And be sure to check your notifications because I am waiting to hear back from one of my most previous winners. But I hope that you come back here for a visit at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Hello, pile number 2. You were drawn to the small, dark chakra bracelet here. And your card today is the Secret card. And so today we're talking about your side, their side, and the truth of this connection. What's happened in the past, what's happened in the present, their perspective of things versus your perspective of things, and where does that truth that lies in the middle reside. Now the Secret card here from the Magdalene Oracle talks about someone confiding something in you and divulging a secret. It also speaks about secrets that we hold within us as well, and the dilemmas that causes about whether we should express ourselves or whether we should keep our information to ourselves. You can see this person's eyes are closed. So we'll see how that floats into your reading today. We're going to start with your perspective, your side of things. And we're going to move into their version of events and their current feelings, and then see where the truth that lies in the middle of this connection. So what is pile 2's version of events when it comes to this connection and the current status that this connection is in? We have the Ace of Pentacles coming out first. And there's the chameleon over top of that branch sitting on that limb. And the chameleon is a shapeshifter, sort of. It changes color based on its environment. So there's this feeling of like someone in this connection, maybe you or this person, really adopting your personality to match their frequency a little bit, wearing masks because this opportunity was in front of you. And there's also this feeling of, you know, with this chameleon up on the limb, all of these little babies are underneath. It's like, what could have grown if we had just taken advantage of this opportunity? There's the Knight of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy. Is their version of the events? Pile number. We have the Two of Swords. Back of the deck is the King of Swords. We're going to clarify this. What is pile 3's version of events? What is their side of the truth? I keep hearing that saying in my head that says "fuck around and find out." That's what I keep hearing in my head. It's like somebody who messed around a little bit too much and then was a little bit too passive towards an opportunity. We have the Three of Swords. It almost feels like there was somebody else involved in the past, or there were other options in the past here, and perhaps we didn't. It's like we really thought we had more time, or there's this feeling of giving up too soon, giving up way too soon. With the Three of Wands. And I feel like there's feigned confidence. So if you're a Leo energy here, that you may have acted really confidently and flirted a lot in the past of this connection. But the truth is it was kind of an example of someone feigning that confidence because you didn't have the confidence to actually reveal yourself. So you may have been very flirtatious and you may have thought that you made it really obvious that you felt a certain way and you felt rejected by them in a sense. Or they chose somebody else maybe. But there's this feeling of like heartbreak because they didn't pick up on my heavy signs. It's like I gave them all the signs in the world and they just didn't catch that idea, or they didn't catch on to my feelings. But Spirit says you may not have been as obvious as you thought that you were. So we're going to see the truth of that. But the Devil here is about insecurity that you really were feeling regarding this connection and how that insecurity made you feel very vulnerable. So you may have held this secret because you were afraid of how that secret would be accepted or be, there's like a rejection element, like a fear of being rejected. But there's a sense of like, the ego is kind of controlling the conversation in a moment because the ego is saying, I gave lots of inclinations. There was a heavy flirtation, and it's like I was just waiting for someone to join me on that perch. And I felt like I needed that push a little bit. There's this feeling of like I wanted collaboration. I felt like I deserved somebody to step back towards me equally in that moment. And absolutely, Spirit says you absolutely deserve that. The only problem is that we can't control the momentum or the actions or the intentions of other people. So there feels like there is this sense of like it's like this feeling of being secret, but in your opinion, you may feel like you weren't keeping it a secret. Like there were no secrets here. It was very obvious, but it wasn't, the actions that you took weren't strong enough or didn't have enough force behind them to actually bring that secret to the surface, so that we were truly in a vulnerable state because we were really afraid of how we were going to be received or if we were going to be rejected in that moment. So let's take a look here at their side of the truth. So your side, their side, and the truth in the middle. We're going to look in that moment. But for Pile 2's person, we have the Emperor, Taurus. You know, this person, they just said they thought so highly of you that it almost choked them out a little bit. Like I was just looking at their tie and how restricting that can be. It's like my mouth went dry. It's like they felt defensive around you because they thought so highly about you. We have the Hermit. We have the King of Wands and we have the Death energy. Back of the deck is the Seven of Wands and the King of Pentacles. This person is really representing as someone very quiet and shy. And so there's this definitely discrepancy between the two of you and your personalities. First and foremost, there's like a real difference between the both of you and your personalities, because they're representing as someone very quiet, and I feel like you presented yourself, even if you were insecure, you presented yourself as somebody who had a big personality, or who had you were just more vocal about what you wanted and what you liked, and that could be why you felt sort of overlooked, or maybe why you felt like you had to apply so much pressure in the past here, because you couldn't really tell what this person was thinking. But it's because they were so quiet and they were shy. You made their throat go dry. You made them nervous. You have the Three of Wands. They too wanted expansion in the past of this connection. And they are admitting that it was their kind of their lack mindset. It's like, I didn't feel like I had a leg to stand on. Literally, I'm looking at this leg. It looks like it's a mechanical leg. It's like I didn't have a leg to stand on. And they feel really shy. They feel really quiet. They were focused. They really wanted a new beginning with you. They would still, in a perfect world, have a new beginning with you, because they still think about you. Even to the present day, if there's been a long disconnect here, they still think about you. That lantern is still lit for you. But when the two of you were having your opportunity, there's a feeling of them taking a long time, waiting for the perfect opportunity to kind of make themselves known. But they're a worrier, and they're really quiet and shy, and they were so afraid that you were going to reject them, or that you were going to keep them in a friend zone, or there's just so much fear associated with the plans that they had made for you. So I feel like there's this restless energy that we perhaps got frustrated and burst away from the scene because there was no action from this side. But this person was like, I was planning things. I'm just quiet. I'm shy. I don't know. I didn't know how it was going to be received. I'm kicking myself now for not acting in that way. But I feel like this is really a big, strong component of this person's personality. It's like it's habitual for them to keep to themselves a little bit, to keep their feelings. And even now, it's like I've swallowed some of that truth. It's like as soon as I saw even the death energy with this swollen belly, it's like they've swallowed some of that truth. It's like they're not arguing with you that they should have acted towards you or picked up on more of your signs, because they're not even saying, they're saying, I wasn't blind to the signs. I saw the signs. I was just afraid. I was coming up with the perfect plan. And that perfect plan ended up kind of costing them a lot, because it stayed in the head. It stayed in the crown. It didn't get extrapolated to the practical realm. And so now they're still kind of pulled in different directions. And they were taking their time, but they're saying, I was going to act towards you, but I was just really afraid of what you were going to do with my revelation. If I came to you and said, this is how I feel, would you have taken it and used it against me ultimately? This person just feels very guarded and quiet. Sorry, my throat's feels very guarded and quiet, and feels kind of sensitive really deep down, but just puts up a bit of a tough front. There's something they come across as mysterious, but they're like, I'm just really insecure. That's what they're saying. And they're kind of kicking themselves because they know that they were just taking their time. It's like, I had a plan. I was waiting for the perfect moment. And that perfect moment, it never showed up, because the truth is we create those perfect moments. Let's take a look here and see what their current feelings are. How do they currently feel at this moment for pile number 2, please? Their side of things. Pay attention to red flags. That came up in pile 1, actually. Pay attention to red flags. The signs are cautioning you. And there's this essence over here from your perspective that you made it very apparent. You were waving your flag around. And they saw the flags. They saw your signs. You have here getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond will deepen. And they really wanted to get to know you in the past of this connection. They really wanted you to get to know a deeper version of them. But it's like they don't let a lot of people in. Like there's just a quietness about their character. They're very a little bit guarded here. And we have control issues. Allow this situation to unfold naturally. That's one of the things they claim to have learned, is to not try to control the momentum. If an opportunity arises, to take advantage of that opportunity. Let's get a couple of message cards to see what their current thoughts are of you. Whoops. It says they were waiting for you. They were waiting for you. And it was reversed. It's not even that they were waiting for you. They were waiting for the perfect moment. But my strength and my ego wouldn't allow me. I didn't know if I had enough strength. It's like I convinced myself I didn't know what you wanted, but the truth is that I kind of had an inclination as to what you wanted, because you made it. You could have been very heavy, a heavy flirt with this person. But I was just too afraid to talk to you, and I'm really sorry, because it's like they're kicking themselves now because they were too afraid to bring that forward. And says you already know. Reverse. They didn't know that you knew. Back of the deck says my life started when I met you. And please give me time. I've never felt this way before. But the truth is, it's like life halted at that moment emotionally for a little while. And they ran out of time. They just keep saying that they ran out of time. So let's take a look here at the truth that lies somewhere in the middle. What was the true energy that brought the two of you? What is the truth of this connection? What is the true energy that brought the two of you to the current status that you find yourselves in today? The truth of this connection for pile number 2, please. Six of Wands. King of Wands. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Very strong Leo vibe today. The Wheel of Fortune. Back of the deck is the King of Pentacles. We're going to clarify this. The Nine of Swords. The Five of Cups. And the Two of Swords. Back of the deck is the Four of Wands and the Eight of Swords. Okay, so the truth of this connection, pile 3 or pile 2. Now, the back of deck is Four of Wands for you. So sometimes people will call the Four of Wands a twin flame card, for instance. It's a card of deep connection, and it's a card that really speaks about opportunities that could lead us to celebration. The truth is that we started with the Secret card. And there's this strength symbol underneath the eyes. There's the Om symbol all over the place. So we've had enough time in the disconnect to reflect upon what it was that held us back. And it was the secrets between the two of you that held you both back in this connection. Perhaps for different reasons, because you may feel like you weren't secretive, but there was still this underlying sort of persona that you adopted, this persona of confidence that almost created the imbalance even more, because there's like feigning confidence. Because as soon as I put down this Six of Wands, even the horse is looking at his rider like, you're consumed with worry. Why are you acting so confident? It's like that confidence was a little spooking. It kind of spooked to this character because they're really shy and really quiet. And so there's this essence of the secrets between the two of you, your insecurity deep down, and their fear of just being seen, their fear of being rejected, really creating the current climate of this connection. It is this Wheel of Fortune, a card of deep connection too. It's not happenstance when we cross paths with someone like this, and it has such a profound effect on us. There is a purpose and a reason and a season for everything. I believe the Four of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune are cards of deep connection, and I feel you were meant to cross paths with this person because it provided opportunity. Opportunity for us to take our blinders off, to see opportunity, to act upon it, to open up our heart space. And the fact is that the regret that we currently see in the Five of Cups is a reflection of that lost potential. This Three of Cups is like what we have lost. But what we can gain now, Spirit says, is the perspective. We can take the lesson that we missed in this connection, and we can apply it with force to future opportunities within the connection if they present themselves, or we can utilize that lesson in other opportunities in the future as well. But there was a deep, deep connection here. And there was a bit of divine guidance surrounding it, a bit of divine protection surrounding this connection too. So it did provide an opportunity for ascension. It's not the only opportunity, of course, but Spirit feels how that's left both of you kind of in this loop, in this feeling of complacency, and in this feeling of passive energy. It's like there could have been so much more here if we had just spoken our truth. What is the lesson that this connection was supposed to bring forward for pile 2, please? You have here, Divine Guardian, do not be nervous today or tonight. The path you are on will lead you just right. And that's the ultimate lesson Spirit says with The Secret. The Secret ultimately encourages us to open up our eyes and share so that we can create that space of vulnerability so other people can walk towards us. And this Divine Guardian card really speaks to that, about not being nervous, or in the very least, if we're nervous, to do things afraid, because that's how we gain. That's how we can walk through these gateways. We don't let fear rule over us. We take our sparks and we create change with them. This person was waiting for the perfect moment, and ultimately the lesson that they learned was that time waits for no one, and that opportunities will not present themselves. We sometimes have to create those opportunities. Let's get a charm bowl for you, pile number 2. A charm bowl, please, for pile number 2. The truth of this connection in the bowl. The King of Cups. Oh, the truth is, this person says that they love you dearly. Like, there's a deep love with the King of Cups. He's the most emotional of the kings. But it's like they were too afraid to dip their little toe in that emotion. They were too afraid, and they didn't have the confidence, they didn't have the courage to step back towards you and say, I want a relationship with you. They were just too afraid in that moment. But they are kicking themselves today. I will say they are kicking themselves. And I feel like that's definitely a mutual energy between the two of you. We have the letters R and G and Y. We have a song. So there could be a song connected to your name or to this connection in some way. There could be a really important song. We have out and we have song. We have the little fawn, and it has its hoof in the air. I think about decisions we made when we were young and in youth. Insecurity, fear to reveal something. There's the high priestess revealing all of her secrets inside that shell. We have the Sacred Heart of Jesus. So again, a vulnerability issue. And here's the nursing cap with the heart as well. So it's all about the heart space in this connection. It's all about, and now finding the healing energy to kind of move ourselves out of that longing cycle. Whoops. All right, pile number 2. That's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates. If it did, I'd love to hear your story below, even if you have to come back to drop your comment. If you do drop a comment below, be sure to hit your notification bell so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading. And if you have entered recently, please check your notifications because I'm waiting back to hear from my winner. You can also check out my links for Etsy for a personal reading and for Instagram below. But I hope that you come back here for a visit at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 3. You were drawn to the white chakra bracelet. I'll just put it up there. And you were also drawn to the Magdalene card. And this is from the Oracle, the Magdalene Oracle. And this is your reading. We are looking at your side, their side, and the truth of this connection. We're looking into the past, their version, your version, and what Spirit says is the ultimate lesson connecting to this connection itself. Now, the Magdalene card here is all about sort of being misunderstood. And it's really talking about a void that wants to be filled and stepping into it with courage and strength, like a budding rose, not to be deterred by the thorns among the roses, but also about being misunderstood in this connection. So you may feel misunderstood, and perhaps this person does as well. And we'll see how that flows into your reading today. We're going to start with your version on this side over here. We're going to do a split reading today. Your side, their side, and the truth of this connection. So we're going to start with your side, pile 3, in your awareness in your version of events. What happened in this connection? What are the current feelings for pile number 3? The 2 of Wands. The 6 of Wands. Fire energy, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. The 7 of Pentacles. It's interesting because in pile 2, there's this interesting contrast, and it's sort of flipped in this reading because I feel like you had plans. I feel like you were trying to find the confidence. You had plans to take action. There was a lot of flame between the two of you, and you wanted change. Maybe you weren't sure if they wanted change, but you were confident that there was a lot of potential here, and you were interested in investing in that potential. You can see she's tending this garden, and it almost looks like, You know, this, it's like baby shrubs being built up. It's like we're taking baby steps. Nine of Pentacles. Page of Swords. And there could have been a school element to this connection in the past as well, because they're calling you a student. We have the Knight of Cups. And we have the Two of Cups in the reverse position. We have the Moon. Now, the Two of Cups is reversed, which can talk about sort of arguments, breakups, things not coming to fruition the way that we want them to in connections or relationships themselves. And I feel like there was this plan to like solidify your place in this connection. It's like I had plans. It's like you may have even come up with this fantastical plan of like how things were going to go. It's like I was going to make a plan. It's like it didn't follow the train of events that I thought it was going to follow, but I really wanted to be in a secure position here. And it meant a lot to you because the Nine of Pentacles is someone who's invested in that planning. It's like I was going to take action because the Two of Wands is the plan and the Nine of Pentacles is the person that starts to get that process going. But as we shift here into the Six of Wands and into this Page of Swords, I feel like you really thought so highly of this person. Like you thought so highly of them. But you may have kind of spent a little too long delaying it. A little bit too long delaying, and ultimately for someone, not for all, but for someone, they may have moved into another relationship cycle at that time before you got the opportunity, which made you feel very vulnerable, or they just sort of slipped out of the experience without the benefit of knowing how you felt, without the benefit of kind of knowing that you had these plans, these desires. And I will say, you know, the Magdalene card, my awareness just got brought back to the void and wanting to fill that void. And then I looked at the Knight of Cups, and there was a sense of deep loneliness a little bit in you in that moment. And I feel like you tried to even skirt around that or bypass some of the loneliness that you were feeling. And this person may have been a distraction to some of that loneliness that you were feeling in your own environment at that time, because you may have been experiencing a lot of loneliness there. Let's look at their version of events. Their side of the truth. I'm just going to move these over as much as possible because we're going to get crowded for this reading. So we're going to move these back down. So what is their side of the truth of this connection? There's also this feeling of waiting for the perfect moment to act, and then that moment sort of slipped away. We have the Ace of Swords. The Knight of Cups, or Knight of Wands, I'm sorry. The Nine of Wands. And we have the Three of Wands on backup deck. We have the Ace of Cups. The truth is that this person saw so much potential. They wanted a relationship. But I feel like they weren't ready for commitment at the same time as you. They wanted an opportunity to begin, but they didn't want any. It's like maybe they weren't ready for a relationship, and that's why maybe you were waiting for them to come forward and be ready for a relationship, because they're indicating here that they wanted to pursue you in a really physical sense. They wanted to kind of have a friends with benefits or keep things very loosey-goosey a little bit. But they also didn't want to keep you waiting because you deserved more than that. Like you deserved more than that. You wanted a full-fledged relationship, and they perhaps weren't ready for that full-fledged relationship. Because even as I look at the tulip here, it's connected to the Knight of Wands, and the tulip can represent great passion. And it's like you wanted a great relationship, and they knew that you had this potential to have this beautiful partnership, having a beautiful relationship. And you could be exactly what they needed. They were trying to fill a void, and you were like this beautiful application of what could have filled that void for them. But they were in a different time, and they're claiming a period of their life, and they're claiming that. They're claiming I was sort of in a restless period. I was just seizing opportunities. And I know that I kept you waiting. It's like they felt like they kept you waiting, made you feel vulnerable. We have the Three of Swords. They're ultimately saying that thorns that they're kind of being experienced among this rose here, that they put their own thorn in that side. They made you feel frustrated. They delayed and made you wait. And they broke their own heart because of that. They've hurt you. They hurt your heart, and they hurt their own heart. And they are saying that they're sorry for that. There's a pain associated with that too. They're like, I'm sorry that I did that, because the truth is that I was the problem. It was my restless energy, and it was because of a void I was trying to fill, not realizing that this was a beautiful opportunity to have that void filled with something emotional, to have this kind of release of these butterflies, like a release of transcendence and a release of clarity coming in. Back of the deck is the King of Cups, and we have the King of Swords. And they want you to know that sorry about that. They want you to know that they see things clearly now. That they see things clearly now. They know they let an amazing thing slip through their fingers. They're saying, I broke my own heart. And they've surrendered to that too. They're taking on responsibility. So if in the past you felt like, you were making plans, you were waiting for this position to be yours, to be in a secure relationship, and they fueled that message at you, they made you believe that that was possible, they kept you on that line, they kept you waiting, made you feel vulnerable, they're acknowledging that 100%. They're saying, I've learned from my mistake. I see it clearly now. And I wish, it's like they wish they could take it back. This moment holds them back. They want peace and clarity. They want a closure cycle for the two of you. And they really are bringing forward this message of, it was not you, it was me. It was not you. It's like you wanted a relationship. They ultimately wanted one too, but they were too afraid to get it. They were filling a void that was unfillable. Because the only thing that can fill that type of emotional void within this divine masculine energy is the type of love that you are offering over here. Is the type of, and that's the true nature. Truly, the last three piles have been all about vulnerability. That's what they needed. And you, I feel like, were showcasing that in the past. I feel like you were making yourself available, showcasing that vulnerability, making sure they knew what you wanted, and they were just creating a lot of frustration. But they want you to know that it wasn't just frustration for you. It caused frustration for themselves, and there's a real sense of awareness surrounding that. They've evolved. They're like, I let this ship sail, and I let all the possibilities sail with it, and now they have to surrender to that pain a little bit. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart and give and receive the highest energy of all. And that's what they're saying they didn't realize when they had the opportunity with you, is that, oh, you were the safe place. You were the safe place to land. I should have taken that leap of faith the way that this zero fool is encouraging me to do. And that's how I reached the world. That's how I achieved that success. I wouldn't feel the way that I'm feeling. I wouldn't still have the void, because this person's claiming to still have the void, still having the void to fill. And now they have unrequited love. The bottom of this card says there's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. But the truth is that it has nothing to do with the attraction or the chemistry. The sparks were there. It talks about this person's necessity to take that leap of faith and seize the opportunity with you. And they're kicking themselves because they did not. They retreated. And now they're coming forward again with this desire to close out the cycle, to get clarity between the two of you. We have a fan, it says romance, celebration, and party. Whoops. And we have here bridge, successfully overcoming a problem. It's like I've overcome this period of my life. So they're claiming that if they were in this state in the past, they're not there anymore. They've come to this full circle awareness. They understand with this King of Swords mentality where they went wrong with you. And they're not placing the blame on you over on this side. We have here the wheel, indecisiveness and allowing your life to amble aimlessly. And that's what they're claiming happened. Is that I caused the cog in this wheel. I asked you to wait. And perhaps they didn't even physically ask you to wait, but maybe they made it difficult for you to detach, or they put out breadcrumbs for you. And so they're acknowledging that as well. Let's get some message cards from this person to see what their current thoughts are when it comes to this connection. Their side of events here. How do they currently feel about pile number 3, please? Just wait on me. Don't give up on me. And that's the 9 of Wands. It makes me think of the 9 of Wands. It's in a perfect world, I could go back and do it over, or you would still be waiting for me. And there's an essence of someone perhaps still waiting. I keep a close eye on your social media. So if this isn't a huge disconnect, if you haven't been separated for a really long time, this person may be considering they're still holding on to force for you, and you still may be in a holding pattern for this person as well. You're so different, but that's why I love you. And they're acknowledging that they perhaps didn't treat you like you were different in the past or in the recent past, and they're sorry for that too. Because I am severing ties with a karmic partner. And I'm not blind to the signs. I see them. But even though we're not together, I just can't see myself letting you go. Because I'm protecting this connection. Because now that their awareness is here, now they've shifted their focus to this this epiphany moment. It's like, what do I do about it when I don't have control over the situation anymore? So they're still trying to maintain that hold, and they are with that holding pattern of the Nine of Wands. So let's take a look here at the truth of this connection. What was learned? What are the major lessons learned in this connection for pile number 3, please? I just got like a sharp pain in my leg. So there's this sense of getting moved. It's like somebody just kicked me in the shin. It's like somebody kicking me. Every kick's a boost. So what is the major lessons? What is the truth of this connection for pile number 3? The Ace of Cups. I just heard that saying that says peace comes from only remembering that only love is real. These emotions where we are putting on airs and wearing masks and you know, feigning this sense of focus in other realms, you know, when we're distracting ourselves for sexual purposes, for instance, that it all trickles back down to this lack of peace within us, and love is the only thing that's real. We have the Judgment. What is the truth of this connection, please? Major lessons being learned in this connection. And the Five of Pentacles. So we're learning a lot through the disconnect here. It's the separation that I feel like has brought in the most amount of lessons for you and your person, specifically your person, because they are realizing, it's like they're realizing the effects that they've had on you because of their inaction perhaps, or their actions. And the Judgment is all about reflecting on where I went wrong so that I can make new beginnings, make better decisions, so I can feel more peaceful about it. There's a emphasis that this person wants closure with you, or wants to get forgiveness from you, perhaps even. We have the Two of Wands. There could have been an online component to this connection even. We have the Eight of Wands. And you'll notice that there's a big contrast between this Page of Swords in the center and the Eight of Wands. Even here, the Two of Cups, it's like if we want the relationship, we have to act upon the inclination, not just maintain the Watcher position. And there's this emphasis too on even physical energy between the two of you being a key to momentum as well. And how this person thinking that maybe they were focused on the fire realm with your connection, with other connections, and them thinking that that keeps them safe from revelations. The truth is that sexual union is a very profound and intense, you know, emotional and spiritual connection. So it's like that could have been where your connection began, was in fire. And they wanted to maintain that in fire, but it's like their feelings started to creep up. We have the King of Wands, we have the Wheel of Fortune, and the Six of Cups. There's a certain amount of protection surrounding this connection in general. Your guide said that this is a soulmate connection. You were meant to cross paths in this lifetime in order to help the two of you ascend in certain spiritual scopes. For your person, helping them to see opportunity and seizing the opportunity and opening up that vulnerable heart space so that they can experience this type of profound, peaceful opportunity. And for you, there's this feeling there's this feeling of you kind of in this holding pattern. It's not really fair on your side, to be honest, because there's this lesson coming in about not maintaining the same burdens that this person is kind of carrying on their own shoulders. It's like their burdens have become your burdens because it's kept you in a holding pattern. It's like their stagnation has become your stagnation. And so this lesson is to not allow that to happen with the Two of Wands, to keep ourselves in motion regardless of the influence that sometimes this Six of Cups energy, this soulmate energy can bring in, because the Six of Cups is supposed to come in as a helping hand. And when we recognize that it's not helping us to our ascension, then our gaze has to focus to one of release. It has to focus to one of adopting a more personalized, self-focused momentum, so that energy and whatever holds them back from their spiritual ascension doesn't become our burden to carry as well. Back of the deck is the Eight of Cups, because that's the biggest profound lesson at this time, is how do we move away from this cycle that it hasn't fulfilled us. And you can see this person's all dressed in red and they've already crossed the water. So the worst is behind us, but it's the emotion that will end up kind of sucking us back in. It's the nostalgia, it's the desire to return to the past that will suck us back in. But Spirit says that we have everything inside of us to overcome this attachment and to be able to walk away from it. There's a fear of that often with the collective, with soulmate energy. It's like, if I walk away from it, then it's not mine anymore. But that's why they want us to take our scope past this human experience and into the spiritual perspective. Because when we zoom out, this is all just a bit of a simulation. We're all here to just learn. And ultimately, we're going to take those lessons and those observations and carry them back to source, where we will all be reunited. Let's get a charm bowl for you, pile number 3. Charm bowl, please, for pile number 3. Advice for pile number 3 in the bowl when it comes to this connection. We have the Hierophant reversed. This was definitely an opportunity for ascension, and now we've shifted the focus into one of recovery. It's like the Five of Cups reversed is about forgiveness, moving on, forgiving this person for their lack of effort. And I feel like they really want forgiveness too, so that they can close out that cycle. We also have here the Page of Cups. The biggest lesson of this connection is to follow our intuition, even before it makes sense, especially for the Divine Masculine here, so that we can allow that intuition to kind of flow us through the state of fear when we hit it naturally. It's kind of like going through the gates at an airport. It's like you're going to hit security, but it's about moving through it with grace instead of moving through it, dragging our feet. Ultimately, to be honest with you, you may expect that this person could reach out to you. For someone watching, they are considering bridging that gap so that they can communicate with you to gain some of that closure perspective and to bring some of their perspective back to you. So they may reach out to you suddenly out of the blue. We have the wrench in our plans. We have V and I and J. We also have the Three of Swords, so there could be a lot of heartbreak and disappointment connected to this situation as well. And the Three of Swords can also indicate third party at this time, so take that as it resonates. Because it says here, how I feel about you makes my heart long to be free. And then we have the Hanged Man next to it with Jesus on the cross. So there's an act of self-sacrifice with Jesus on the cross, but also a victim mentality surrounding their current status. So, or your current status potentially as well. You could be wearing masks in your environment and watching this person. But there's a sense of detachment because of another person for someone watching. We have here the music note and you versus you. We have a wrench in our plans, and we also have the hatchet. And the wrench here is a big wrench, so there's something big in the way at the present moment that needs to be severed. And we have here believe in love. I feel a lot of intention with this person. They may reach out to you ultimately down the line. This could take time, for instance, because this is a collective reading. There's lots of different energies floating in, but there is this intention. I just feel like it's not over. That's what it feels like for you, pile 3. All right, pile number 3, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. And if it did, please drop your comment below so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. You can check out my other links below as well for Etsy, for personal reading, for Instagram as well. And be sure to check your notifications in case I recently have reached out to you because you were chosen the winner, because I'm waiting to hear back from my winner. But I hope that you have a beautiful day, and I hope that you come back here for a visit at the Tarot Cottage.